Last wipe, I lived a cozy life in the desert, completely at peace, no enemies, and no trouble. But this wipe, we're on Restoria, US Main, the largest server, and this is my story. I started on the beach, as we all do, on a force wipe, and I began to run as far from the spawn area as I could. If you're new to the channel, I hope you subscribe and say hello down in the comments. I made sure to farm some stone and wood on my way so that I could craft some tools and hopefully lay down a base. I had my eyes set on a spot all the way in the north, and I was determined to get there.
Hello?
Once I felt like I had enough resources, I began to build my starter base. This is a new layout, and personally, I really enjoyed living out of it. It's a much smaller footprint, but it's enough for a solo. Since I was one of the first to spawn in on the server, I had the luxury of picking any place I wanted to build. But as the population increased, that became less of a reality. The snow biome was relatively empty, and I considered it. But as I wandered past the snowy landscape, I decided that this wipe wasn't meant to be here. Instead, it was meant to be here, under the trees, in the shade, a place where the birds choose to sing out of joy. Now that my starter base was down, I crafted a bow and I did some hunting. The area I lived in was far from anything. There were no monuments near me, and the only source of scrap were two roads, one to the west and one to the east, and I would frequent these roads, farming for scrap as often as I could. I know the difficulty of farming wood on this particular server, but as I quietly approached a player that was tearing down trees, I quickly realized he didn't experience the same struggles of farming like I did. He had teammates on the lookout, constantly monitoring the surroundings. So instead of engaging, I simply retreated and headed the other way. As a solo, you have to pick your battles wisely. I decided to farm some nodes on this hillside, my best chance of survival was strengthening my base. Instead of constantly moving from the west to the east, I decided to go up north to see what was there, and to my surprise, I found Node Heaven. And so I began collecting as much as I could until I heard that group nearby. As soon as I heard the tree fall, I took off back to my base. At least now, I knew of a perfect place to go whenever I needed resources. Around every corner, it seemed like a group was raiding someone, usually a solo. This early into wipe, anyone is fair game. So I made it a point to head back to base and quickly began expanding. I immediately turned the expanded area into a loot room. The less boxes I had laying around near my feet, the better. I laid down some sleeping bags in the area while I continued farming the roads. I was constantly hearing this, but I needed to stay focused, so I simply ignored it and continued grinding. What's up, buddy?
What's up, buddy?
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm just chilling. How's your wipe going so far?
Word, man. What's your name?
My name's Orange.
Pretty good so far.
Good. What's your name?
Are you friends with Yellow?
Oh no, actually.
Yeah, there's a guy named Yellow.
No. I don't know who he is.
He was a cool dude.
Okay.
Hey, you alone, bro?
Yeah, I'm solo.
It up?
Are you cool? Can I come out or no?
Oh, word. Yeah, you can come out.
Okay.
I'm okay, bro.
Okay. All right. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm just solo.
What up, man?
Doing the solo thing. Are you solo?
Oh, word. No, I'm living alone, but I have people on the server, like,
Gotcha.
farther away.
Okay. All
I'm
right.
pretty much solo now.
It's pretty chill.
Yeah, I live right over on the coast.
On the coast. Okay.
Yeah. Well, did you hear those gunshots earlier?
I heard gunshots over by K3, like that road over there. I heard it was
Hey,
like it popped off.
There was a fight over on T1. T1, we were going at it. I got raided. They tried to. They satcheled me and they
Oh
got
god.
the wrong one.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
No, I didn't hear that
I was
at
not
all.
ready for. I was not ready to get satcheled.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I literally I don't have
Good
any
luck, yeah.
BBs, man. I just hopped on, so I'm like trying to grind for scrap, and it's it's working.
I feel that, dude.
Yeah. There's
Yeah,
so
dude,
many
it's
people
a
on
chill
right now,
area,
which is
Well,
kind of
it-
crazy.
I know.
Yeah, man.
But over here, it's kind of chill, even though I'm getting raided. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Right. As chill as it could be, I guess.
yeah, man, for sure.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, well, it's nice to meet you, man.
All right, nice meeting you too. Oh, wait, what was your name? I didn't get your name.
Yeah, have a good. You can call him Puff.
Puff? Okay. Gotcha, man. All right. Have a good one, man.
All right, man. Yeah.
Yep. See ya.
Yeah, you too.
Remember what I said about farming wood on this server? Well, it's true. Moment after moment, my loot was starting to stack up, and I needed to make sure that I used it efficiently. In the darkness of my base, I laid down a barbecue grill, and I started cooking up all the meat that I had. And while it was cooking, I reflected on my wipe so far. Things were going so smoothly. I had a perfect place to farm nodes. I had 2 roads to farm for scrap. And I made an alliance. That is a lot for one solo to experience on this particular server. But in the back of my head, I knew that couldn't last forever. And I needed to prepare for the worst. When the sun came up, I headed out with my crossbow and all the food that I cooked up, and I made my way to the closest entrance to the underworld. This was a massively helpful run, because now I had a decent amount of scrap and a lot of components, pushing my wipe along smoothly. I decided it was time to honeycomb the base and add a second floor, so I got to work. Fights like this always leave me scratching my head, because clearly, if it was a 1v1, I would have had it, but this server is mostly for groups, and a solo like me struggles to anchor his place. And after I respawned, I thought to myself, I can't wait to get a gun. It seemed as though the fog was only getting thicker as the sun was setting, and as the server population slowly increased, I found myself wandering deeper into the forest. In order for me to survive on this server, I needed to assert some dominance. That was the mindset I had at this moment, but I was completely unaware of what was to come. To follow my dreams, a luxury I can't live without, and neither should you. But while we wait for dreams to become a reality, we sip on warm teas. And for teas, we need berries. And that brings us to now, a foggy day, picking away until the sun disappears. Up to this point in the wipe, things were relatively chill, so I made my way out when the sun came up to collect more scrap, loot, and do a little hunting. Sometimes my curiosity would get the best of me, and I would spawn out in the middle of nowhere to see what was going on, because in my faraway corner of the map, things were calm, but the server pop was high, and those players had to be somewhere. I was beginning to collect a lot of loot, and I was hoping to recycle. That way, I could research items that I needed. An outpost was the safest place to do that. So I put on my backpack and I made my way underground. The idea was to take a train all the way to Outpost. If I could make this run, it would be a game changer. swapping out trains, and finally getting to the surface. I had a weird feeling that I was being watched, and as I observed my surroundings, I saw this guy. I simply tossed the fuel back into the train, and I was at it again. The elevator shaft at Outpost, one of the most nerve-wracking places in the game. The chances of a grub being here are very high, and on this run, there was. So I decided to head back to the train and simply rip through the surface to the world above.
I got my pain and my heart on my sleeve. Only escape when I'm under the sheet. I feel the ground break from under my feet. I'm lost in the noise, feeling annoyed, sick in the void. I need to breathe, suffocating, let go of me. Truth is, I've been losing all my patience. I hate that I locked up, but I'm anxious. I can't go on like that. My world is caving in. I've been waiting. I hold a loaded pistol. My hands shaking. I lay on the ground so blissful. I had a dream of walking with angels. Head down, arms crossed, legs shackled. Do you know the life I live? Step off the pain since I was a kid. Run away with nowhere.
Somehow, I actually made it, and so I recycled, purchased items, and prepared to send my scrap back to my base.
Hell no! Do you hear what's going on over there? Why does it just doesn't feel safe around these parts?
You will never leave the gathering zone. You will never leave.
I spawned back at home and began building my shop. For that, I needed some wood. I tried to build this as quickly as possible so that my body wouldn't despawn at Outpost. Luckily, it was a success. Opportunities like this, when the server seems to be relaxed, I grab a pickaxe and I head out to do some farming. And on this evening, the sunset was orange, beautiful, and slowly setting. And so I took that in from the corner of my eyes as I worked. When you're in your thoughts, getting things done inside your base, a stray bullet like this can wake you right up. Just when you think things are perfect, a change begins to happen. As a solo on the hardest server in the game, anything is possible. So whenever I get the chance, I upgrade what I can. Sometimes your subconscious speaks to you, and in this moment, I upgraded what I could just in case anything crazy would happen. And as I was doing that, a guest paid me a visit.
Hello?
Hello?
Yo, you mind if we're cool? I'm a solo.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm solo too, man. Do you live nearby?
If you want, I can invite you to the team. I'm about to slot over here, bro. I'm stuck in between two zergs.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, hey man, feel free, man. I'm just chilling over here. It hasn't been too bad, so.
Yeah, here, I'll get away from the base real quick, but... Yeah, it looks pretty quiet over here.
Yeah.
What's your name, bro?
My name is Orange.
Here, I'll step away, but... I just want to see who you are.
Hey man. Teets. How you doing?
It's me and another guy who I was trying to be friends with, but we were, in between two zergs by excavator.
Yeah.
So it's...
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
And they allied with this they allied with this Chinese clan.
Oh,
so they couldn't get
really?
raided. They were like 10 deep.
Yikes. Okay.
Yeah, and the Chinese Zerg just got on, and then they allied with them. Yeah,
Oh my
bro,
gosh.
so I came over here to check it out.
Okay. Hey, there's
If you need
no
anything, let
room
me
for
know.
us, man.
I'm gonna try and
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and rotate some stuff over, but
Okay.
if you need anything, let me know.
Alright, yeah. Same. See you, bro. I sealed my suicide bunker, and moments later, the wipe would change, and it would never be the same. It all started with excessive tree cutting outside my base. And so I spawned at a sleeping bag outside my base to see what was going on. And that's when I noticed the chaos. It was clear I was completely surrounded by a Zerg. They were moving in, whether I liked it or not. And so I stepped away from the situation and I spawned out near a supermarket. I decided I would loot here, run all the way to Outpost, recycle, buy, and research a drop box. That way I could pass loot in and out of my suicide bunker. If a Zerg was going to completely surround me, they were probably going to raid, and I wanted to make the raid as hard as possible. As the Zerg slowly expanded, I decided to do a little exploring. Maybe I could find a new place to build. It was simply a thought, and so I spawned out in the snow. I got a salvage pickaxe. I took over an abandoned base, and I slowly began to farm for scrap. But as I was doing all of this, in the back of my head, I was picturing my home. I knew this wouldn't last, not after building my base to where it was. And so I headed back there, and what I saw completely blew my mind. This Zerg had built so many small bases all around my base. They didn't look like strong bases, but there were a lot of them. It seemed as though they were building a village. They had completely wiped out all of the trees in the area, leaving none for a solo like me. And so, I resorted to this. One day, I logged in, growing used to the sound of chaos outside my base. And when I opened my doors, I could see the Zerg attacking a new base down by the ocean. The number of people that were surrounding the base motivated me to get a closer look. I quickly realized that this Zerg had no idea that I wasn't one of them.
マルト注意。マルト注意。あ、お前、こいつ殺せ。太し殺せ。太し。太し殺せ。太しやばい。太しやばい。おい、規制張ってるやつ殺せ。殺せ、殺せ。
起こして
ちょっと待て待て、ちょっと待て待て。
ありがとうありがとうありがとう。
相手が嫌気をさすので。
Zerg was chaotic. They were unorganized, and oftentimes I could swoop in, take a few out, and collect a decent amount of loot. But there was always the risk that they would shift their attention to my base, and so I made it a priority to upgrade the core of my base to metal. Sure, I was surrounded by chaos, but I wasn't planning on being taken out that easily. One day turns to night, and the ocean swallows the sun slowly. The world we've come to know goes quiet, a moment of rest for most, but an opportunity for me. This server never rests. Day and night, the Zergs attempt to assert their dominance. As for me, I found an opportunity to slip by and go down under, a place I feel slightly safer while looting. There's a lot of risk while running these tunnels, because at any moment someone could pass by like this. After a significant period of time, I found myself in this corner, healing up. Now, let me know, can you see me in the shadows? I can't, but somehow this guy did. My neighborhood seemed to be very congested. Every time I left my base, there was somebody in my sights, and oftentimes they were bringing home loot for the Zerg. And so me, as a solo, I did what I needed to do to preserve my place on the server.
Dude, it's me. What happened?
Cheats.
I went to sleep and woke up to this?
I literally logged on and I saw like just a ton of these guys just building.
Dude, where'd the forest go, bro?
Yeah, dude, they were chopping like crazy. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of them in this group, man. And soon after, night fell. I laid down a campfire so I could see, and I started building a loot room on the second floor. When I stepped outside, I could see others in the neighborhood with similar campfires lighting their base. A feeling in Rust that I truly love. A moment when the server thinks the same way. A moment of unity. I hope you know that doesn't work, buddy. Finding the perfect balance of resources and the TC versus resources available for use can be tricky, especially as a solo. So I take my time with this process, alone in my bunker, counting and organizing. One day, I woke up, logged on, and found this. A tree had grown. The first tree I had seen in a long time. Maybe the forest was returning, and I was happy to see that. On a random run underground, I came across a player that traveled the tunnels like I did, on foot to reduce attention and to keep stealthy, a solo like me.
Dude, I'm just looking at my phone.
You caught me off guard.
Hey, I'm gonna pick you. Just, you can keep going if you want.
Alright, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Dick.
See you, bud. Back home, nothing changed. The Zerg was still running wild, and I just kept looting. If you're new to my videos, you might not know this, but I'm a big fan of mixing tables. I tend to use them often, maybe more than most solos. If you're a solo, let me know down in the comments. Do you like using mixing tables? Sometimes you just want to loot in peace, but some players are stranger than others, which leaves you no choice but to do this. And then, randomly, early one morning, I logged on to find that the forest had returned. It felt like I was restarting the wipe, The Zerg seemed to be slightly less toxic, but still wildly active. It took some time to do some PvP and stack up as much as I could. My goal was to get a gun. Any gun would change the wipe for the better. This time around, I was determined to make it to Outpost so that I could research a gun. It was my only choice since I was so far from any monuments. I refilled on coffee to get my mind right, and I tried my best. I watched the players from the distance, and when the coast was clear, I continued. The number of times this happened and I was able to get away really blows my mind. Eventually, I did make it to Outpost, and it was exactly as crowded as I expected. The first thing I did was grab some food because I was starving. And then I began to recycle. This was the turning point in the wipe. I was able to buy my first gun. Now, roaming would be a little different. I was used to this process, collecting loot at Outpost and using my shop to bring it home. But for some reason, every time I spawned back at Outpost, someone was waiting. And this happened far too many times. Eventually, I was able to sneak by. After researching as much as I could with my newly collected scrap, I decided to craft a gun and do a bit of roaming. On my first run, this happened. Just like that, I went from a semi-pistol to a rifle. After collecting all the loot, I grabbed some wood and began laying down the idea for the third floor. I kept it twig for now, while I continued farming the roads. Eventually, I had enough scrap to research the SAR. The PvP never stopped. Around every corner, I saw an opportunity. Now that I had a few guns researched, I began taking my shot.
Oh, nice.
Even though the Zerg was driving me crazy by chopping down all the trees, I still found it in me to offer a helping hand. The forest I built in was congested, and the nodes that spawned around were immediately taken. So I decided to spawn out in the snow and do some farming there. Maybe then I'd have a better chance at bringing home some stone, metal, and sulfur. The first thing I did when I returned was fill up my furnaces and kick them on. I needed to keep a constant flow of metal. And while I worked, the server outside was at war. With enough scrap, I was able to research the triangle hatch. And with the triangle hatch and the reinforced window researched, I felt comfortable finishing out the third floor. And from the very top of my base, I was able to stand, overlooking all of the shacks and bases that the Zerg had built. Throughout all this chaos, somehow I was still here, and I was determined to stay. In my eyes, us solos are the same. We stay out of the way, we keep our heads down, but never accept being pushed around. And so, we continue our journey. I made some ore tea, and I took it to go. Dropped off everything I had on me, except a pickaxe, and I farmed as much as I could. dropped off the farm and then headed out for scrap. I returned with a decent amount and was able to research the large furnace. Now it was time to build a large furnace base. Eventually, the furnace base was done, and so I grabbed all the ore that I had. I filled up the furnace, and I sparked a match. I headed to my roof, and as I overlooked my furnace base and the rest of the neighborhood, I felt a sense of pride. It was nice being the most dominant base in the area. This wipe felt long because so much happened, but sometimes all it takes is a long lost friend to remind you that you're okay.
Yo, Orange, are you still in there, man?
Hello? Hey.
Orange. Yo, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up?
Is that you?
Yep, that's me. How's it going, man?
Dude, I'm glad to see you still up and running, dude.
Wait, is that Puff?
Yeah, man.
Oh, wow.
Dude, this Chinese epidemic, dude, has me off.
I haven't seen you since, honestly. That's crazy, man. So, are you still there?
Yeah, I know. Dude, yeah, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I have been. I haven't come up this way because of all this.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of.
Yeah, it's chaos. But everything's decaying now, so.
I know, but they're still here, dude. They're still. I had one. The one was making a shelter. I've killed a couple making this. I've been trying to keep the area down.
Oh, really? Yeah, they just keep cutting down trees. I don't
Dude,
understand.
they're making shelters, putting legs to each other. Yeah, I know. Dude, there's so many sleeping bags. There's a base like V0 down by the coast, like over there, and it has like a giant sign. It's like one of their hubs. Has like there's like 20 sleeping bags in there.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Anyways, man, it's good to see that you're still here.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, good to see you, man.
See ya.
Yeah, see you, bro.
After doing a bit of crossbow PvP, I can't lie, I had a bit of a scare. There was a group that was raiding a lot of the bases around me, and I was worried that I'd be next.
China. Hey, open the door, man. Hey, stop.
But a simple wave was all it took to spare my wife.
Yo, friendly man, friendly. Arigato, arigato.
While a storm raged outside, I focused my attention on the inside, setting up my base so that I was prepared for the worst. I grabbed a decent amount of resources that I could recycle at Outpost and made my way to a train underground. I was hopeful that I could make this run, but I had no idea what was in store. until I heard this. It was an ambush, and I had no chance. But instead of dwelling on my loss, I simply spawned back at base and continued working. I was done living in the dark. I needed some lights, and for lights, I needed to set up power, and so I did that. Any opportunity I got to farm nodes, I took it. But on this particular run, when I got back home, I was able to flip a switch and light up my base. I made sure to pass over some resources into my suicide bunker so that I could make sure my TC was fed. Every now and then, I'd get an itch, and I'd find myself wandering, looking for a little action. Since I was nowhere near any monuments, I spawned out where there were some, quickly found a green card, but had a bit of trouble finding a fuse box, so I farmed endlessly until I found one. And then I headed to the satellite dish to get a blue card. With my blue card in hand, I was in search of a red card, so I crossed the map all the way to water treatment. This was a far journey, and a dangerous one at that, but I was determined to make it happen. As soon as I was ready, I grabbed everything I needed and made my way to a boat. I was ready to do oil rig. And while I waited for the heavies, I heard someone sneaking on board. So instead of engaging with the heavies, I decided to wait and see what he does. And as I waited for the timer, I kept a close eye on the ocean, expecting this player to return. I didn't want to waste any more time, so I immediately ran to the edge and jumped. It was a long path back home, so when I saw this rib, I decided to stop and take it. After researching as much as I could with the scrap that I had, I decided to do something I don't normally do. I grabbed the AK and headed out for some roaming. This was the point when I decided to catch my breath and lay down the AK. This guy was obviously going to recycle. I've been in his place many times, so instead of taking the final shot, I simply let him go. From living in a beautiful forest to a wasteland of decayed bases really left its mark on me. This is one of those wipes that I can never forget. And as I rode around on this horse, I took in the scene. The server was going to reset, and this series would be the only evidence that it ever existed. A wipe in the past, but a wipe never forgotten. Thank you so much for watching, and a special thanks to my YouTube members. If you got this far into the video, comment the word puff down below so that we never forget the memory of friends that come and go. You've been watching an Orange Dream production.